Hello, ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister, listen to me carefully. Let us take a moment to listen, not just with our ears, but with our hearts. How many mornings do we rise with the weight of the world on our shoulders? The alarm rings, the news begins, the notifications flood in. We move quickly, sometimes too quickly, into the rush of the day. But do we ever ask ourselves, with whom did I wake up today? Was it with anxiety? Was it with resentment? Or was it with God? To wake up with God is not a poetic thought. It is a way of life. It is the quiet revolution of the soul. It is a daily resurrection. Each morning is a gift, a soft whisper from heaven saying, "Try again, I am still here." The world teaches us to rise with schedules. God teaches us to rise with purpose. When we wake up with God, we don't open our eyes to chaos. We open them to the Creator. The breath you just took, that one, was not owed. It was given with love, freely, endlessly. Grace is not part of our day. Grace is our day. P. 12. We do not wake up because our bodies remember how to rise. We wake up because mercy shook us gently by the shoulders and said, "Beloved, there is more for you." There is something beautiful that happens when we begin our day not by scrolling but by surrendering, not by rushing but by reverence. What if, before we said good morning to the world, we first said good morning to the one who gave it to us? God waits at the edge of our bedsides like a parent by a child's crib. He does not shout. He does not demand. He simply waits for you, for the first glance of your soul turning toward him. That is love. That is waking up with God. Imagine if we truly believed that he is already awake, already working, already preparing a path for us before the sun even rises. When I rise, you are there. When I fall, you do not leave. P. 58. So often we rise like orphans, forgetting that we are sons and daughters of a king. We put on our to-do lists, but we forget to put on our identity. But God has written your name on the palm of his hand before the clock ever struck 6. There are those who rise into loneliness, those who open their eyes not to laughter but to silence. If that is you, know this: even if your bed feels empty, heaven is filled with your name. You are not alone. The Spirit does not sleep. The Spirit does not take weekends off. He is your morning companion. Some of you wake up to struggle. Maybe you opened your eyes today with pain in your chest or fear in your mind. But the presence of fear is not the absence of God. If anything, it is his invitation. My peace I give you, not as the world gives. John 14:27, p. 142. The miracle is not that the sun rises. The miracle is that we are not forgotten. We must learn to rise not just physically but spiritually. To wake up with God is to rise with forgiveness instead of grudges, to rise with faith instead of forecasts, to rise with love even when the world offers hate. Some people pray at night because they think God is more available when the world is quieter. But let me tell you, God's mercy is not a moonlight event. His mercy is sunrise gold. His blessings arrive with the morning dew. Start your day not by checking your emails, but by checking your heart. Has it opened to God? Has it opened to others? The first 10 minutes of your day can shape the next 10 hours. Begin them with him. Even a whisper of thank you is a cathedral of worship. There was once a woman who told me, every morning before I brush my teeth, I tell God, brush my heart. That is wisdom. That is beauty. That is how you wake up with God. There is nothing you will face today that his grace has not already seen. God walks before me, behind me, and beside me. I only need to say yes. P. 77. Waking up with God means waking up with courage. The world might tell you that you're not enough, but when you rise with God, you remember, I am made in the image of the one who called the stars by name. Wake up with God, and you will walk differently. Your steps will not be perfect, but they will be protected. Your path may not be clear, but it will be chosen. Some days we won't want to get up, that is okay. God doesn't measure our holiness by our energy. He meets us in our weakness. Even the yawn of faith is a hymn in heaven. P. 91. And when we fail, and we do not need to go back to sleep to reset the day. We only need to close our eyes for a second and say, Lord, walk with me again. And He will. That is the miracle of mercy. There is no guilt in waking up late, only grace in waking up aware. For those who rise early in labor, in hardship, in sacrifice, your mornings are sacred. The single mother making breakfast, the student praying before exams, the worker commuting before sunrise. God sees all of it. Not one drop of morning sweat or sorrow goes unnoticed. And for the elderly who wake in silence, or the sick who wake in pain, or the grieving who wake in tears, remember, you are closest to Christ, who rose not in triumph, but in wounds. Let us be people who wake up not just to an alarm, but to a calling. Not just to light, but to love. God is the first voice of the day if we will just silence the noise. In the hush of dawn, God is loudest. P. 38. So tomorrow, and every day after, when your eyes open, let your soul speak first. Not your calendar, not your fears, not your regrets, but your soul. Let it say, God, I woke up. Now let me rise with you. Amen. Thanks for watching.